I just personally wouldn't trust anything that was said in the room, including the personality.
It's not a matter of trusting it. It's a matter of seeing it, matter of experiencing, matter of knowing it.
Yeah, it's
more knowledge. It's like saying, I don't want this medical test because I don't want to know.
Folks, prepare yourselves because you're about to see Bill Maher absolutely rip leftist crazy actor Sean Penn to shreds over his extreme Trump derangement syndrome. You know it's bad when Bill Maher, of all people, is saying that you're too far to the left and insane in your hatred of Trump. That guy is no fan of Donald. With all that being said, we are going to get right into it. But first, do me a big favor here by liking our video and also sharing it around. That way we can keep bringing you guys this great, hard-hitting content. As always, Patriots, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
I have not been invited. The only reason I would not accept an invitation is because I see no, it's a long flight. And I see no,
really? You'll meet with
I don't think
Castro and Hugo Chavez, but not the President of the United States?
Yeah, I saw good results come out of some of those things in terms of agendas that I had. I don't think that there's anything that I would... Right. I just personally wouldn't trust anything that was said in the room, including the personality.
It's not a matter of trusting it. It's a matter of seeing it, matter of experiencing, matter of knowing it.
Yeah, it's
more knowledge. It's like saying, I don't want this medical test because I don't want to know. I want to know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean,
I have some good friends that, are...
I said this many times within the piece when I did it, that it's up to, I'm just giving you the report. It's up to you to make the decision. Who do you think is the real guy? I'm telling you, there's a very different guy behind closed doors in a different setting. Now,
or capable of performatively seeing that, yeah.
Well, one of the, my friends who believe in astrology would say he's a Gemini. Of course, there's two of them. Okay, that's one way to look at it. Other people will say, well, the real guy is the guy you met, and he's playing this clown on TV. And other people will say the reverse. It seems harder to do the reverse. I mean, can you really pretend to be sane? You can pretend to be insane. I think it's harder to pretend to be sane, to be measured and all the things I said, which is just what happened.
It's interesting Maher says this because Trump has a great track record with people with first impressions when he meets them for the first time and his lasting impression too. A great example is Joe Rogan. All right, Joe Rogan did not like Trump for a long time. Didn't like his politics, didn't like him as a person, thought he was a clown, that kind of stuff. He even actually famously said that he didn't want him on his podcast because he doesn't want to help him and thinks that he's just going to come on and make it all about himself and it's going to be insufferable and that he's going to help him and he doesn't want to do that. Fast forward to years later when Joe Rogan actually met Trump, got to know him, got acquainted with him, and then eventually actually had him on the podcast talk about a historical moment. And it was so different. Joe likes him a lot now. Even if they disagree on certain matters, he still is quite a fan of him as a person. It's a similar deal with Maher. Well, I don't know if Maher supports Trump politically. He probably doesn't. It doesn't seem to be the case. He actually does like Trump as a human being and said that after he went and had dinner with him that he was so much better than he expected. He was actually such a cool guy, so charismatic, so cool, so funny, friendly, that kind of thing. And he was shocked. It's pretty fascinating. Perhaps more important than any of that is how Trump is famously regarded to treat service people so well. There are stories about, Trump going to a valet, tipping them $100, being super friendly, cool, not acting like he's some kind of rich hotshot who's above it all. He really is the people's man in a sense. It kind of reminds me of back when Trump did the McDonald's thing when he worked at McDonald's. People love that. That was peak Trump right there. He, unlike, Hillary Clinton, imagine somebody like her doing that, or Kamala Harris for that matter. They couldn't pull it off. They would look out of touch, ridiculous, and stupid, and it would be so transparently phony, fake, and obvious. But not with Donald. It's a whole different thing.
So again, there's three parts of this. Would you go to the dinner? I think you're crazy not to. Not to want to see up close the person who's this important in everybody's lives for the last decade.
I completely understand that.
Two, are you going to lie about it? I'm sorry, I'm not a liar. I don't lie, so I told the truth. And then three, do I go back to doing what I always did? Yes, I did.
Yeah, but you could have told more truth or you could have told less truth.
I told a lot of truth. I told everything.
I would have enjoyed a little more brevity on that. But I absolutely understand that.
But that's just emotional. You were just triggered.
It's possible. It's possible. It's true that.
But I
for
would
some
like
reason this particular president triggers me rather often.
Exactly. He makes people crazy. But he's not making me crazy.
I don't know about that one. Maher has peak TDS. Is it as bad as that of Sean Penn? Obviously not, but it nonetheless does exist. And let's not try to let Maher too off the hook. You guys remember back in 2019 when Dennis Prager was telling Maher, hey, they've got men going to the women's restroom and that kind of stuff, and Maher laughed and said, oh, that's ridiculous. Come on. You're insane for even bringing that up. That's just a small minority. Yeah, that's not happening. And then years later, all of a sudden, Maher was railing on the woke left for how obsessed they are with sticking men in women's sports and locker rooms and that kind of thing. Hello, Bill. You were warned about that 5 years ago and you scoffed at it. So maybe it's time for you to take a little bit of humility. Just an idea.
But so you really wouldn't go?
No, I don't. I'm not saying I think I wouldn't, because let me put it this way. What I know I would not do.
Especially he's very.
I would not go. Let's say. So, for example, when we talk about this very different president of Uruguay, there were things that Uruguay had models of in development that could be very helpful to Haiti, and I went to see if we could get some training from them and so on and so forth, which we did. And whereas if I were, let's say, representing a cause célèbre, say it was Ukraine, say it was whatever it was, I would not fool myself that I was going to get anywhere with him. I know that I wouldn't. I know that I would have no influence.
Bad attitude. You don't know that. You don't know anything. He's a guy who frequently seems to go by what the last thing he heard was. I'll tell you this about Donald Trump, and you don't know it because you don't go to dinners. It's all about.
I didn't go to dinner with President Trump. That's true.
You should. It's all about personal relationships.
I've not been invited.
Okay, I will get you an invite. He's a star in a way. I bet you he would like to meet you. And you would have a...
Yeah, he'll see the show. He says, if I see him, they're going to call me...
I think he watches the podcast. He does watch the show. He's a faithful viewer.
He's got people that do his thing. Dan Bongino would be knocking on your door if you didn't go to dinner.
That's not why I did it. And it could work out the other way. You don't know. He's very unpredictable. And
this guy talking about an alleged weaponized federal government. Dude, you literally supported Joe Biden. I digress. A fun story about Sean Penn's visit to Cuba when he hung out with Fidel Castro. So he showed up there. Fidel greeted him, brought him over to his house. Kind of weird. And he had his 14-year-old daughter with him, Sean Penn, and she told Fidel that she would not shake his hand and refused because she was so furious about how he apparently treated LGBT people or something like that. And Sean Penn went and bragged about it on the Howard Stern show. Oh, I was so proud of her. She had the receipts. It was so beautiful. Oh, just tearing up thinking about it. And then he says that Fidel acknowledged that he used to do bad things to homosexuals, but he's changed since then. He's learned a lot and he's growing. If only he had the same grace for, conservative Americans as you do for a literal communist who executed so many people. But anyways, whatever, they put gay people in forced labor camps, military camps for being effeminate. No big deal, I guess, because he's on the left. Anyways, kind of interesting. With all that being said, what y'all think? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please make sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and hit that subscribe button. And that way, we'll see you again soon. I appreciate you tuning in. God bless.